Okay, welcome guys. I haven't announced this video, so please pass it on to friends, family, anyone you feel relevant. So as the title says, this is the consciousness of the coronavirus itself. As I said last week, you can speak to anything, plant, animal, element, essence, anyone really. Any form of consciousness, and even viruses. Viruses and bacteria are quite intelligent in a lot of ways. Hi guys. And they're not always in conflict with the human progression. Some are created purely for that purpose, especially sort of vaccines and inoculations. I'm going to be doing a bit more talking about that soon. So viruses really are created through co-collective consciousness at a certain level. They can also be created by humans in labs, and they're also created through manifestation of energy, to name a few. So basically what the coronavirus, and I got a message the other day just to sort of tune in and channel it, and it was very interesting actually, so that's what I want to share with you. So again, it's just going to be a short video. And just before I came on, I got a message to share with everyone, and I'm going to promote a time for this and put it on the group. And we're going to do a base chakra activation. Now the base chakra is a male chakra, and as I'm sure most of you know now, we are healing the male energy at the moment, because the male energy is been in so much trauma, so disconnected from the womb of creation, which is the feminine force, that it's almost retracted into itself. And this is why we're sort of, in a sense, we are still very stuck in very old paradigm of consciousness. But obviously that's all changing now. So the base chakra really is about activating the divine feminine, bringing the divine feminine into the body, taking it through all the organs, and all the lives where we've disconnected from ourselves because we're so exhausted, so worn out, battling, striving and fighting. And all this energy is in the base chakra, and that is why most people are really exhausted now, because it's actually the energy of the base chakra that's holding these patterns in place, and the fatigue. So it's been aching for that mother love to sort of come back, the divine feminine, and it is exhausted, and it's what disconnects us all as well. This is why we're still disconnected as a planet, because all the fighting and the separation within there. So obviously the base chakra looks after our vitality. It houses our tribal memories of the abuse and both affection. So how we've lived in the tribes for all our lives. It also affects the heart chakra. It has a huge effect on our blood pressure as well, because a lot of the people's hearts and the shadow heart, and I haven't really spoken about that, but I'll talk about that again as well later. The shadow heart is the invisible heart that sits on the opposite side of the body, and that has been waking up in humanity in the last sort of year, and a lot of people have been feeling it as sort of electrical current, but topically on top of the skin. And this is actually the energy portal that holds the most, can take the most love, but it holds the most grief. So all the denied, repressed soul energy will sit in there as well. And the liver also has an invisible counterpart which sits on the opposite under the physical heart. And these are the major organs to hold the most divine current. So there always has to be a balance. So you can't just have one organ. So if you have one organ, then you've definitely got an invisible partner as well. So the base chakra will activate and bring the sensitivity, the gentleness, and the vastness, the intuition, and the creativity back into the male energy. It doesn't matter if you're male or female, because we're both male and female energies, as most people know. So it's going to start balancing the polarization, the duality, and start enveloping the energy portal that sits around the base chakra that is fatigued. And I've been looking at them psychically with some of my clients, and you can see they're very dystrophied and very discoloured, some are very hardened, and there's an aura or energy of emotion, a whole cocktail actually of emotions sort of emanating out of that chakra. And that's actually what's stopping humanity from moving forward at the moment, because we have to come out of survival mode. And of course, you know, the coronavirus, like the, you know, the paracetamol and the toilet roll was a great example of just that survival again. We just got to have enough to survive, you know. And it just, you know, so obviously the virus has been great because it's shown us so many things on a multifaceted level. It's so important now to embrace what the visible world is trying to show us. And that's why I channeled this message. So I'm going to go on and tell everyone now. I'm just going to speak it out. So it's going to be the same as last time. I'm just going to read off of the iPad here. So just have to excuse me looking down. And then I'll just talk a little bit about it at the end or during it, and we'll go from there. So this was the consciousness of the coronavirus. So this is actually speaking to the virus itself. I come as a subtle reminder of change and transparency. Although you see me as evil and destructive, but that is what society does. It alienates and misaligns most truths. I actually resonate from a fifth density consciousness, so I cannot affect anyone who has not agreed it on a soul level first. I am not the enemy. I am actually a messenger for humanity to wake up. I have been created by your souls for this purpose alone. If a person dies, they have agreed to leave Earth because they are not ready to move into the new paradigm of conscious awakening. Despite what your media and governments are saying, I'm actually accepted by an individual person, so they may pass on from the physical realm, and they are greeted with love when they enter the non-physical realms. You are made to believe this is bad, but in truth, you have all manifested me to wake you up. I am not running rampant as your televisions portray me. I am actually quite gentle, and I come to a person's aura first. I don't leap on them and attack. I'm acknowledged and then invited in because the union of their soul and my consciousness is in complete alignment. Don't take your isolation period or its extension as anything but positive. You all needed to disconnect for a while. When you can see through the eyes of your soul, you will know that no amount of social distancing and isolation would stop me from entering your body if it was your soul's wish for me to do so. And that's a very, very interesting point. I do not have the nasty intent like some of your viruses, and it doesn't matter how I was formed physically, I am here for the good of humanity. Are you seeking to destroy yourselves at the moment? No, you are all in fact pausing and acknowledging yourselves unconsciously, and this is having a huge effect on a co-creative consciousness. And a lot of you will not go back to your old perceptions and behaviours. You all had to take a pause so divine consciousness could come in and be heard. Most people are unaware of this at the moment, but they will feel it within themselves as the year moves on. I'm trusting human beings to finally see that in times of need and change, that opening up to their truth is really the highest reality. The soul doesn't have this idea of death. This is a human concept. All humans that pass on to the non-physical realms after leaving their bodies live and thrive in other dimensions, in the most natural way the Creator birthed you to experience the multiverse and beyond. If you tune into me in your meditation, you will see I am no threat to you, and if we do cross paths, you are meant to learn something deep within you, or you're ready to move on, and that is okay. It is in perfect alignment with your soul path. Sit with your panic and fear, because believe me, you aren't really fearing me, you are fearing life itself. You must come out of survival mode, but first you must process your emotions. Take this time to work on yourselves. I am here in loving service to humanity. So this was a bit hard to read at a time, how I was going to portray that, because it's how it's been channeled. I do resonate. It resonates with me 100%. The thing is that obviously that type of information could be hard for someone that's lost someone, because we are in blame mode constantly. Like I said, we see it as a negative, but nothing happens to us, anything in life, unless our soul has agreed it. Even getting robbed or being attacked by someone, the souls have agreed that experience, because nothing can go against your will. And it's the same as if you have an accident, even if you bang your head on the door or stub your toe, this is the body releasing emotional energy because you haven't been able to work on it consciously. So there's always things moving around us that we need to start becoming aware. We need to have more of a peripheral energy about us if we are to see what the universe is starting to mirror back. We can't be just stuck in survival mode in our day-to-day now, because everything is changing. So that was a really nice message to get, because like I said, if you can embody that and really feel that, nothing will ever harm you, and it takes all the fear away. And I don't know if I mentioned this in the first video last 2 weeks ago about the Bruce Lipton, and I watched one of his videos, so I've actually put a bit of a section in my book about him because it relates to some of the stuff where we're bridging science and spirituality. And there was a group in America, and he put this video on because it was amazing. And basically, they I think it's a religious group of some sort, but their beliefs are so strong that they will have like ceremonies, and they will drink like rat poison. They'll get bitten by cobras, and they survive, and nothing happens to them, because they believe it's God's going to save them, but it's the power of belief. And that is what Bruce Lipton's work is all about, the power of belief and the cells and the membrane and how it affects our environment. And the whole hereditary model is sort of being debunked now, that, you know, that comes back to us owning our power, and we are the creators of our reality and no one else. So again, it's that belief that if you believe you're not going to get it and it's not against your soul path, you're okay. You're okay. But this, of course, you know, you can't say this to mainstream people at the moment because there is so much fear, and that's okay. And they'll move out of that when their soul is ready to move. Because what's happening, and a lot of people are going to go back into their routines like nothing's happening. Oh yeah, we were isolated for a while. But it's the undercurrent. It's the unconscious. Energy is subtle when it wants to move through a very hardened, conditioned human being, because consciousness is subtle, and it has to be to move through density. So it's weaving its way unconsciously, and the only way to tune into that consciousness is through breath and still in the moment. And obviously you're going to do that through a meditative position or practice. But you have to set the intention first, because the intention is the foundation of all outcomes in all universes. Without intention, nothing manifests, nothing at all. This world would not even be here if there wasn't an intention to create it first. So it's the intention to see peripherally outside of the box now, because what's happening is your soul energy is all around the body. You're actually encapsulated in your soul. So you have to allow that expansion to feel, and let that come around you. Because once you start to connect into that, the soul is just going to put things in front of you, and you're going to, oh, that's what I've got to do. That's what I've got to do. And what you'll find is your head, your ego mind, the conscious program conditioned mind will start to take a back seat. Because there's three aspects to us. We have the ego mind, we have the soul, and we have the spirit. So the ego mind is more of the human extension stuff. So what's been happening in humanity, that ego has been driving the bus. And our society teaches us, especially our schooling system, you know, that is God, that's why we follow this, we follow that. And it's very programmed, very conditioned, and often we go against our feelings in so many ways. And sometimes we're so conditioned we don't even realise we're going against our feelings. So what's happening now, the analogy is that the ego sits at the back of the bus. The soul is driving the bus. And then the spirit, which is your highest aspect of consciousness, is the guide, is the omnipresent. So once you get those three in alignment, because the mind cannot go anywhere, and a lot of people try and push the mind out and say, oh, I've got to get rid of it, that negative chatter, my mind is my destructor. Yes, it is when it's in control, but its gift is imagination. So when you can imagine something, because imagination is humanity's greatest tool, because in the non-physical realms, when they move around, they can move through walls, we can go to different planets, we can go different dimensions by just thinking it, or just imagining it. And then you're just there. There is no, travel is irrelevant. You use your imagination, use your co-creative power within you to manifest and move anywhere. So it's the same about coming back to that analogy and finding that source of power within ourselves. Because until this this corona isolation is over, people are still going to be in survival mode to a certain level. So it's really, like I said, coming back is about accessing what's unconscious now. Because what's happened is there's been so much, the sun's been doing it, planets have been doing it, light beings have been doing it, spirit are doing it. Everyone is bringing this new consciousness to the planet. So it's just sitting there. And then just spirit just saying, look, just access it. It's all there for you now. You don't have to sit and struggle and worry anymore. It's literally sitting within your aura. So you just have to access it. And a lot of the new work that we're bringing through, and part of the book is about a realm of consciousness. And this is Spirit's word. They said this realm of consciousness is what we're moving into. It's the new human being. So they're saying the new human, the new golden age, the Renaissance, anything you want to call it, but it's the new human being. You know, so in the old ways of speaking, this is the light bodies are moving to fourth density. Yes, but this is a Renaissance, a golden era. And like I said, it hasn't been done before. And I said this last week, while we've been alive. So you just have to have the intention to access what is non-physical. And that's all you need. You don't need to try and fix anything, do anything. Just sit there and allow yourself to receive what you need to do. Because what will happen is you'll start to change unconsciously. So your behaviors will change. You'll start waking up differently. More confidence, less fear, more direction, more purpose. So allow it to come from within, because your minds do not know what the hell's going on. Because we're not programmed to understand what's going on. So we're programmed in survival, in control mode. So just allow yourself to receive, because the Divine Feminine is all about receiving. So you need to sit there and switch your minds off. And then just allow whatever needs to come will come. But that's again where trust comes in. And a lot of human beings don't trust. And to be honest, when you get to the end of the soul path, or the end of that path where you're leaving 3D, the last thing you're going to do is trust. That's the last final hurdle. So it doesn't matter where you are on your journey in your development. If you sit, and as I just said, the next step will be shown to you. It will be shown to you. It's not possible for it not to be. It's because it's there. It's all around us, and you just need to tune in. But you need to have the intention to tune in, and you need to say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I've gone down this path too long. And you need to look at the cyclical nature of your lives and see, why is this still happening? What haven't I broken here? Why am I still going down this path? Because until you can trust and get the energy of the soul, we're all going to be stuck, because we are not meant to be operating from here anymore. That time is over. It's the time of the heart. It's the time of the soul. Okay. All right, thanks guys. So I'm going to see what comes through next week. I'm going to do the base chakra. So I'll announce, I might do that the latter part this week or early next week. If I do, probably be Friday, but I'll send out a message tomorrow or Thursday if it's going to be for Friday. All right, thank you. And like I said, please pass this on. Invite people to the group as well. Just get these messages out to as many people as we can. All right, love and light. Thank you.